boy, oh boy, do I love my Marvel slop. And Captain America, Brave New World, whatever the fuck it's called, just fits right in there perfectly. This movie was an actual, just nothing burger. Just a big, fat nothing burger. It's not as bad as people are saying. Some people are saying it's like Morbius, the Madam Web level bad. It's just not that bad. It's still better than Eternals and like the two most recent Ant-Man movies that were actual garbage. But it's not better than like Doctor Strange or like the newest one, or what's it like a mediocre Marvel movie. I don't know, but it's in that kind of category, like maybe like a Thor: Love and Thunder category. Like it's not great, maybe better than that, honestly. But anyway, I wrote a list over here of the things I did and didn't like when I watched this movie, and yeah, let's just get into it. My first thing I wrote is that there's not a Marvel intro for this movie, and that kind of pissed me off. And the reason that pissed me off is because this movie's not unique enough to try to be different. It is just a rip-off of the Winter Soldier, but like worse, like a lot worse, without the old charisma Marvel movies used to have. So that made me mad. And the other thing that I wrote down immediately was just I just wrote Harrison Ford, and I think I'm pretty sure the reason I wrote it is because I was kind of pissed off because, it's not that I dislike Harrison Ford, it's just that the other actor, I don't know his name, and I'm sorry, but the guy who originally plays this Thaddeus Ross, I think it's how you say his name, I think it was Thaddeus, right? I don't know. He was in the first Hulk movie. They had like 17 years to do Red Hulk, and they waited this long until the Hulk actor, or I'm sorry, Red Hulk actor literally fucking died, rest in peace, because it took them so long to do this, and they shove it into a Captain America movie. And this movie suffers so much from being a Captain America movie because all these characters are Hulk characters. Like Red Hulk obviously is a Hulk character. The main villain, which we'll get into in a minute, is a Hulk character. Like it just should have been a Hulk movie. And you'll probably hear that from every other like video, so I'm not gonna really go into that. But holy shit, it pisses me off. And there wasn't even like a rest in peace to the guy that originally played as this character, unless there was one at like the very end of the movie. But after I got to that post-credit scene, I walked out of the theater because I was so like genuinely embarrassed. But anyway. So, next thing I wrote down was that his white suit is pretty fucking cool. That white suit is pretty cool. The helmet, though, that helmet is actual garbage. Like, actually garbage. I hate that helmet. I'll put a photo of it on screen. It is so bad. And they replace his cool white suit with this one that's just blue later, and it pisses me off because the blue one sucks. The white one is cool. Keep the white on the suit. It looks sick. The intro of this movie goes on for so long, by the way, and it has just action. It's just boom, 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 and it's just punching. There's so many punching sound effects in this movie. It is ridiculous. And he fights this big guy, and it's just boring. It's not even a named character, and then Giancarlo Esposito's character runs away, who I don't even remember who he played as, which he shouldn't have been in this movie, but we'll get into that in a minute. Intro, the like first 15 minutes of this movie is like really bad. The pacing of this movie is really bad. And this kind of goes on my next point, and this is throughout the entire movie. I genuinely believe that Marvel or Disney, like, pays people to go to movie theaters and laugh. Because I confidently can say, this is the least funny Marvel movie I've ever watched. It, like, none of the jokes, and I don't know if I'm just not part of the humor demographic anymore, which I think there is funny Marvel movies. There's some good quips sometimes. It's gotten worse over the years, but this movie, like, genuinely is not funny. There is a line where the Falcon says to Captain America, because he gets to a point where he has to, like, run away from Harrison Ford, President Thaddeus, whatever his name is, and he's like, well, he's just the president of the United States, or something like that. And it doesn't land. And the fact that there's genuinely people that laughed at that joke, and it just, like, I don't know, it just blew my mind, because it just wasn't funny. There was, like, one joke at the very end of the movie that I kind of giggled at, which I'll get into later, but that was it. Like, there's one time I chuckled slightly. Like, it just wasn't funny. If I was laughing at this movie, I was laughing at how bad it looked. So, Yeah, I don't. I genuinely think they pay people to laugh because I don't know how people find this stuff funny. But you know, if you thought it was funny, that's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And then yeah, I wish they saved an actor like Giancarlo Esposito for a bigger role or just a different movie. His character in this movie is genuinely like nothing. Like, if he wasn't in this movie, I don't think anything would have changed. You know, he does his thing. Like, he's a good actor. Like, he does fine in the movie, but he's only in it for like fucking 10 minutes, and his character's like, I think his name is the Serpent King, but like, I generally don't know what he did. Like, there was one scene where he fucking shoots a gun at Captain America, like an ambush scene, which was mediocre. It was trying to be like the Nick Fury scene from Winter Soldier, and it just wasn't nearly as cool. I wish they saved him for a bigger role. I don't know what that would be, like, you know, just an actual cool character, I guess. I don't know, and a good movie. Let's see. Oh, and then so there's this character that gets introduced later on, who's like Harrison Ford. I'm not trying to refer to him as the actor, but the character's name. Thaddeus Ross is like main agent lady. She's like some Israeli superhero. I'll put a photo of the character on screen here as well. Holy shit, that character sucked, like, really badly. Like, really, really badly. Like, she was annoying. She did nothing for the story. If she was in the movie, nothing would have happened. Like, or sorry, if she was not in the movie, this movie would not change one bit. Like, genuinely probably one of the worst characters that's ever showed up in a Marvel movie. Like, actually just, again, a nothing burger. And she was so annoying. I hated her stupid voice. I was actually hoping, I literally wrote here on my notes, hoping Tiny Lady gets shot in the head. I hated that fucking character. I was hoping she got a 50 cal just right through the fucking noggin, or like Red Hulk would have fucking like just ripped her in half. I don't know, but that character fucking sucked. Holy shit. I will say though, Anthony Mackie as Captain America is actually pretty good. I don't think he does like anything wrong in this movie, and I don't think like he's like why the movie's bad. I assume the main reason this movie is horrible is the reshoots that this movie had to go through, and is so painfully obvious. You could like just easily tell when the reshoots took place. There is like this CGI. If I could find a photo of it, I'll put it on screen. But if I don't put any on screen, it's just because I probably can't find it because the movie's, you know, not officially out. You could so clearly tell that it is green screened. Like, there is like a aura of light around Anthony Mackie and like one of the last scenes in this movie, and it just looks horrible. And there's a confrontation with the main villain as well, and you can just tell they're both not. They're both not there. Like, it's just horribly green screened. It's really, really bad. Like, there is some bad reshoots. I will say though, for how many reshoots this movie did go through, it looks better than I thought. Which doesn't really say a lot, and that's not a compliment because there's a rumor that this movie is like over $300 million. I know that it says, if you look it up, I'm pretty sure it says like a 180 or $190 million, which still is fucking ridiculous. But I remember people saying that the budget of this movie is around like 400 million, which if that's true, wow, that sucks. That just sucks. But yeah, I think Anthony Mackie does really well in this movie, and I actually think Harrison Ford doesn't do too bad either. It's just kind of weird because he's playing a character I just don't feel like he should be playing. But I think he does fine. Like, those two do pretty well. The guy that plays as the Falcon, I'm sure he's a great actor, and I haven't really seen anything else he's in. But his version of the Falcon fucking sucks, and he's like this quippy little, like, one of those joke characters that just makes jokes constantly, and it fucking sucks. I didn't laugh at his character once. His suit kind of sucks as well. I really hated that character. Not as much as the Israeli Black Widow ripoff, but this Falcon character just isn't great. Maybe he'll be better later on. Maybe he will. I doubt it, but you know, maybe he will. I think it was the writing that fucked him up. I don't think it's the actor's fault. I think the writing just sucked. Let's see what else I got in here. Yeah, actually awful villain setup. Again, this character so the main villain of this movie is the leader, who has like this big green tall head. I'll show a photo of what he looks like in the comics here. This is what he looks like in the comics, and then if I could find it, this is what he looks like in the movie. And you know, he doesn't look great, but at the same time, I understand why they had to make it look different, because I cannot lie, if he just had that tall green head, I think that would have kind of had the MODOK effect that kind of had when they did MODOK and Quantumania, where people just clown on it and just say it looks horrible. I mean, it did look horrible in Quantumania, but I think like the reason they went with this weird like brain kind of zombie looking vibe is just because I just think the really tall head would have gotten clowned on, and people would have said it looked. I think people would have said it looked like shit either way. But I think this one looks a little bit less shitty. So I don't really hate the design, but holy shit, he is such a Redditor. Like actually, just a walking Redditor. Like his voiceover stuff in this movie is actual like garbage. Like he sounds horrible. He doesn't look great, but he sounds weird. For those of you that saw Madam Web, and I'm sorry if you did, I don't know if you guys remember, but the main like villain in that movie, I can't remember, the evil Spider-Man guy, something happened with the actor and his voice to where he had to like voice over everything he said in the movie. It's like a slightly better version in this movie is what it sounds like, if that makes sense. Like, it sounds like he's not actually talking, and that, like, they had to voice it over. And I don't know if that's true, but it just sounded weird. And he talks like a fucking Redditor. Like, he's a literal Redditor. He's like, well, 89% of my calculations said that Captain America would have given up if I, did this properly, or had Thaddeus Ross turn into the Red Hulk. He would have given up the shield, or something like that. Like, he sounds like a fucking loser, man. So, the villain's not great, and the setup just sucks. And a lot of this movie kind of just felt like action. Like, there was a lot of action, and it kind of sucked. I can't lie. Like, there was 2 scenes. So, like, the first, like, hour and a half of this movie was pretty garbage. Or maybe it was, like, hour and 20 minutes. And then you kind of get to this, like, this scene where, they're trying to fight for this, material. It's called adamantium. And it's on like one of the Celestials that crashed a long time ago, and U.S. gets into a not argument, but a kind of almost war with Japan over it. And so Captain America and Falcon have to go in there to like try to stop these 2 American guys that get mind controlled by the leader from starting a war with the Japanese. And then you know, but that like scene where they're like trying to stop these 2 fighter jets was really fucking cool, and it went on for like 10-15 minutes, but it was pretty sweet. Like, there was one time where Captain America like grabbed a missile and he like surfed on it. That was fucking cool. Just the flying looked good. I hate the helmet on Captain America's suit. I really hate that helmet. But that was cool. That scene was cool. I actually think it looked good. It didn't look horrible. There was only like one bad CGI scene where he like takes the shield. It's kind of like hitting the fighter jet glass part open, and it looked bad, but that scene was cool. I was actually like entertained. I was actually like impressed. I actually liked that scene a lot. And then Falcon gets hit by this missile, and then and then Captain America, I think that's the reason he started thinking like, maybe I should be Captain America or whatever. And then there's like a Bucky cameo. Bucky shows up. He's like, hey, Steve said you could be Captain America, don't you worry. And it was kind of not forced. I wrote forced, but I don't think it was forced. I think it's just kind of like, oh, okay, no way. There's a Bucky cameo. We all kind of expected it. But it was good. Like, it was good. And there was a little, like, slightly funny joke in there. So, I will give him that. And it kind of gets into the leader with that horrible CGI scene. And then, yeah, like, Harrison Ford, Red Hulk's, like, speaking at a thing. And then there's that, yeah. And then the leader, like, gets arrested on purpose or something like that. And then, Red Hulk hulks out and turns into Red Hulk, destroys the White House, yada yada yada. I will say, Red Hulk actually looked pretty good. Like, he's only in this movie for like 4 minutes, which, sucks. I was hoping there was like another Red Hulk fight or something, I don't know, maybe Hulk would have shown up and had to fight him, but then we would have got that shitty Mark Ruffalo Smart Hulk, which just actually looks like ass. Or honestly, even She-Hulk could have shown up, but I think I'd rather watch anything else but She-Hulk. So, maybe I'm not complaining. Actually, maybe it's not bad that it was a Captain America movie. But yeah, Red Hulk actually does look pretty good. I actually think he looks better than the old Mark Ruffalo Hulk. Like, this Hulk is proportionate. He looks good. He looks cool. I actually I did fuck with him, and the fight scene they had actually looked pretty good, except for the part that you can obviously tell got reshot, and you have light up CGI Anthony Mackie, and then Hulk shrinks down and whatnot. But I actually really like that fight scene. This entire movie was literally made so that in 2 months from now, people can upload 4K Red Hulk 4-minute fight clip. Like, that's literally the only point I see this movie actually making. So then, after Captain America gets Red Hulk to turn back into Harrison Ford, and then he gets locked up in the raft, if you guys remember that from Civil War, the whole like reason why you're supposed to feel sympathetic for Red Hulk in this movie is that he never gets to see his daughter, even though he's the president. Well, now he's not the president, but he was the president. Well, his daughter like shows up when he's in the cell, and I started giggling when that happened because it's literally the same ending as Blade Runner 2049 or 2099, whatever the fuck it's called. Like, Harrison Ford sees his daughter through the fucking glass, and I was like, dude, it's literally the exact same ending as Blade Runner, which I thought was funny, and I'm surprised no one has talked about that yet. But yeah, and then it goes to the end credit, and this movie easily has the worst end credit of all time. Like easily, without a doubt, the worst end credit scene I've ever seen. All it is Anthony Mackie, or not Anthony Mackie, Sam Wilson, Captain America, going back to the raft again, even though he was just there, and he talks to the leader, and he goes, "You know what's funny is all the different things that are gonna interrupt I don't know where the fuck I got interrupt from, that are gonna all the universes that are gonna fight," or something like that. All he had to say was the word doom. Like all he had to say was like doom is coming or something like that, and it would have been cool. But no, he just says it's just a nothing burger. And I'd love to include the scene here, but I don't think I can, and I think I'd get copyrighted. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, this is an airplane movie. It is such an airplane movie. I wouldn't, if you're like struggling and you're like, you know, I kind of want to see this movie, but I don't really have time, and yada yada yada. Don't waste your time. Wait for it to come out on Disney Plus or whatever the fuck, and watch it then. Like, don't waste your time seeing this movie if you don't want to see it that badly. If you're like a diehard Red Hulk fan or Captain America fan, go for it. You'd probably like it. But if you're like feeling iffy on it, just wait till it comes out. Don't pay fucking $15 to go watch this shit. It's like a 4 out of 10. And I said this earlier, it's not as bad as like a Morbius or a Kraven the Hunter movie. I mean, those are Sony movies, but you know, it's not as bad as like Eternals or like, you know, going into TV shows like a She-Hulk or, you know, Echo or some shit like that. Like, it's not that bad, but it is like a 4 out of 10 movie. It's not a 5, because that would be mid, and I think it's not good. I don't hate it, though. Like, it's not garbage, but it's not good. It's just bad, but not too bad, if that makes sense. Anyway, if you guys like these movie review videos, let me know. I like to talk about movies, so I actually think it's quite fun. Yeah.